Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Germain Talks, and I hope you're doing safe and fantastic wherever you are in the world. As we speak, we are in mid of history making, or to say, we are in mid of Corona. Whatever way we want to take it, that every good or every service around us has been affected. Essential, non-essential, luxury, life-saving, everything has been affected. Some in less proportions, some in more proportions. Out of out of the whole gamut of goods and services, one of that has been oil and gas, because everyone, irrespective wherever he or she or whatever profession or whatever about the demography or anything, everyone is directly or indirectly an oil consumer. And this video is about the sectoral analysis of oil and gas industry during and after the COVID crisis. Partly to say of my interest in a few of the sectors like oil and gas, telecom, mining, aviation, so on and so forth. So I'll hope you like my video. Please stay tuned till the end of the video, and I'll hope you like it. So let's get started. We were in January 2020. The Brent crude was trading at $67 a barrel. Then came a meeting between OPEC and Russia, in which they couldn't agree upon the production cuts. Cut to 3 months later, in the month of April, Brent was trading at $19.33 a barrel, like a huge decline. Now, as we speak, Brent is trading at $45 or $5 a barrel. Corona resulted in decrease of demand of the Brent or the crude in the tune of 20 to 30 million 20 to 30 million barrels per day. This was the nosedive of the oil consumption. And when we are speaking of the companies which are affected, we are definitely speaking in trillions. Something like Saudi Aramco, whose market cap is $1,950 billion. Or to say all the big, there's nothing small in oil and gas industry. We have ExxonMobil, BP, Shell, and Total, so on and so forth. So to understand how does this is making sense, or the demystifying this, we need to understand the very bare essentials of oil industry. Oil, like any other industry, has its own idiosyncrasy. It is divided into three parts: the upstream business, the midstream business, and the downstream business. Upstream is where the oil is explored, oil is extracted, uh, be in the deep sea rigs or on the land. Deep sea rigs can be like in the Gulf of Mexico or certain parts of Arabian Peninsula, or like Falkland Islands, or we have on the ground exploration like in the GCC region, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and all. We have ground exploration. The big boys in the upstream business are Schlumberger or China National Offshore Oil Corporation, or the deepest well, if my knowledge goes right, is operated by Shell, and so companies like BP, they are in this business of upstream exploration. They try to find out they go as deep as they can and find out the quality of crude, how sweet is the crude, how thick is the crude, how um, economical is it to explore the crude out and to transport it to the refining facility. Once the oil is extracted, then comes the transportation part. The transportation part is the midstream business, which is done by the ships, uh, huge carriers like VLCCs, very large crude carriers, or ULCC, ultra large crude carriers, or Panmax, or pipelines. So this is how the oil is transported from the facility to the facility. This is the midstream. And the big boys here are like Energy Transfer, TransCanada, Kinder Morgan. Then Once the oil reaches the refining facility, then we have refineries where the oil is the crude is undergoes fractional distillation, and it's broken down into various products like petrol, diesel, aviation turbine fuel, furnace oil, naphtha, and and many products, um, so to say. Uh, the big boys in the downstream are really really big. Uh, as I said, Aramco, ExxonMobil, Shell, and BP, ConocoPhillips, Total, and many more. Uh, so they once it's reaches the refinery, it's broken into all the components, as I said, and then it's sent to the retailers where we get our petrol. So where is the problem here largely? As industry analysts and industry insiders say, that by and large oil is almost a perishable commodity like dairy or grocery. How? Once the oil has been once you start exploring and like taking out the oil from the oil well, oil rigs, you cannot stop it, like just shut it down. Like, I'm not saying it's uncontrollable, but definitely you cannot stop it like this well is going to be stopped for next 1.5 years and I'll come back after 1.5 years and I'll get the same quality and quantity of crude. No, that's not the case. And that is what is one of the problem areas in the oil and gas industry, that no matter you stopped using your car and your oil consumption went down, but the guy who is there at the oil rig, well, my painting is actually of the sea. Okay, so the guy who is uh, extracting the oil, he cannot go ahead and outrightly press the brake on the oil exploration well, because once he does that, uh, the quality of oil goes bad, and that's the reason recently BP announced that it's shutting down few of the oil exploration sites, and recently Sea Lion oil exploration facility up there down there in Falkland Islands near southern Argentina uh, ceased their oil exploration because tapping out does not make sense right now. So it's better if it's the oil has yet not if you have still not reached the oil, it's better to stop and to wait till it becomes more economically viable to pump out the oil. So this is problem number one. Oil more or less is uncontrollable. Okay, then we come to problem number two. The problem two is in the midstream. The midstream is where the oil is being transported from site 1 to site B, the oil exploration site to the oil refining site. Between this, we have pipelines and like I said, the big ships. But largely oil and gas industry over the past 40, 50, 60 years have kind of ignored the modernization of this in terms of creating more underground storage facilities or over the ground storage facilities, because it adds burden to their balance sheet. It's like a sitting asset. It's like a huge billions and $1 billion inventory sitting idle. Well, it made sense then, but it's not making sense now. And unfortunately, this is something which cannot be done in a overnight or a couple of months or maybe 1 or 2 years, because it requires billions of dollars of infusion, capital infusion. And midstream as a business is something which is always mired in a lot of litigations and land acquisition. Then you have people who claim that this land is theirs, or transnational boundaries. Then all political problems happen in the midstream. Recently, couple of weeks ago, there was a news item where the oil carrier traveled all the way from Western Canada across the whole coastline of US, went through the Panama Canal, and then went up all the way to the eastern Canada to one of the oil facilities. So it actually went all the way like this, thousands of miles. So imagine the transportation cost of that particular crude. Well, that is what is the problem right now, that no matter what, oil is cannot be stopped. So what is the way forward? What is the way forward as we go ahead in this? Many times there have been instances, or there have been talks that now few of the companies which are facing problems in oil refining margins or oil exploration wells are granting royalty to their wells to any other company, that you can go ahead and do it. Like, I'm not interested in exploring oil or extracting oil in Nigeria at the moment, so I'm giving my royalty for a fee, and whatever you'll give me, that will help my liquidity position as of now. So that is one thing which has been which is being spoken about in the petroleum industry. Then we have relocation of capital. Like I said, no two wells are the same. So in one well, the extraction cost is less, in another well is more. In one well, the crude is thick, and the one is sweet, so to say. Like, even in India, the crude extracted from Bombay High is considered very sweet. However, up there in Rajasthan, the desert, or to say the shale oil in Canada, it's very difficult to extract oil, because shale oil is technically bitumen. It's like cake, and one has to extract oil from that. So extracting margins, how economical it is, that will be return on capital driven. So that would be one another thing. Then there would be, of course, M&A consolidation. If few of the oil companies may become an easy target or an attractive target, or may decide to be merged together and things like that. So inorganic kind of movement may happen. And the talk will go more on the savings and efficiency. Of course, in the downstream, there has always been pressure on the refining margins, that okay, refinery X versus refinery Y is having so and so refining margins. So the pressure will go on the refining margins and more efficiency. One thing would be, which the industry would lobby at their respective local levels, is the carbon tax. Now, carbon tax is something which is completely unrelated to oil exploration business, but affects oil. How? Because it is the tax levied by the government on the oil exploration and so on, and in the oil business. So government tax may have a different carbon tax versus government Y. Something else tax can be different in Korea versus in Vietnam or India or Canada. So they will try and lobby around on the oil carbon tax. Well, like I said, or like they say, that may you live in interesting times. So for petroleum industry, it's definitely an interesting time where they have been taken into in certain way a surprise on how to deal with this situation, because they were already facing a lot of oversupply issues in the past, and now Corona has further exacerbated the oil crisis. At some points, in certain quarters, it's already being said that this may see the 70s era of oil. Well, time is the biggest secret holder of this, and let's hope for the best. And that's it. Well, that was all in my video. In case if you feel connected with this, please like, share and comment, and I look forward to your feedback as always. Thank you very much.